lost and alone. Jason sat on the park bench. The world seemed dark. He had lost his job, his girlfriend left him, everything felt broken. What was the point of it all? Tears welled up in his eyes. He felt so lost. The sun began to set. The sky turned a fiery orange. Jason shivered. He was cold and alone. A lone tear rolled down his cheek. He had hit rock bottom. A gruff voice startled him. Jason had been lost in his thoughts, the weight of the day pressing heavily on his shoulders. The sudden sound jolted him back to reality.
"Rough day, son?" The voice was rough but carried a hint of concern, a tone that suggested the speaker had seen his fair share of rough days too.
Jason looked up, his eyes meeting those of an elderly man standing nearby. An old man with kind eyes was smiling at him. The smile was warm, almost fatherly, and it made Jason feel a little less alone. He had a scraggly beard and wore worn-out clothes. Despite his appearance, there was an air of dignity about him. Jason nodded, acknowledging the roughness of his day without words.
"Mind if I join you?" The old man gestured to the empty spot on the bench beside Jason.
Jason shook his head, more in disbelief at the situation than in refusal. The old man sat beside him, settling in as if they were old friends. He pulled out a dented flask and took a sip, the liquid inside offering him some comfort.
"Name's Thomas." The introduction was simple, yet it carried a weight of shared humanity.
He said, offering the flask to Jason, a gesture of camaraderie. Jason hesitated, then took a small sip. The warmth of the liquid spread through him, easing some of his tension. Jason. He introduced himself, feeling a strange sense of relief in sharing his name. Thomas smiled warmly, a smile that seemed to say he understood more than he let on.
"It's all right to hurt, Jason. Life throws curveballs." His words were simple but carried a depth of experience.
He looked out at the cityscape, the sun setting in the distance, casting a golden hue over the buildings.
"I lost everything once." Thomas's voice was steady, but there was a hint of pain in his eyes. "My money, my house, my family." Each word seemed to carry the weight of his past.
Jason looked at Thomas, intrigued by the depth of his story. He had never met anyone who had lost so much and still managed to smile. "What did you do?" Jason's voice was soft, filled with genuine curiosity. He asked quietly, almost afraid of the answer.
"I learned what truly mattered,"
he said, his eyes twinkling.
"I had chased wealth and status, but they left me empty."
He patted Jason's hand.
"Real wealth is not about money, son, it's about peace."
"Peace?" Jason echoed, confused. How could someone with nothing be at peace?
"Peace comes from within, from helping others, finding purpose, appreciating the simple things."
He gestured to the sky.
"Look at that sunset, Jason. It's a masterpiece and it costs nothing."
Jason looked at the sunset, the sky painted in hues of orange and pink, a masterpiece of nature unfolding before his eyes. He realized he hadn't truly appreciated its beauty in a long time. The daily grind had consumed him, leaving little room for such simple pleasures. He had been too caught up in his own problems, the endless cycle of work and responsibilities weighing heavily on his shoulders. But how can you be happy with nothing? He wondered aloud, his voice tinged with confusion and a hint of desperation. He asked, still struggling with the idea. The concept of happiness without material wealth was foreign to him.
"Who says I have nothing?" Thomas replied, his voice calm and assured, a gentle smile playing on his lips.
Thomas smiled enigmatically, his eyes twinkling with a wisdom that Jason couldn't quite grasp.
"I have the freedom to enjoy each day, to wake up without the burden of unnecessary worries, the joy of helping others, seeing the smiles on their faces, knowing I've made a difference, the richness of simple moments spent with loved ones, the laughter shared, the bonds strengthened. That's true wealth, Jason, and it can't be bought. It's a wealth that transcends material possessions."
Jason felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe Thomas was right. Maybe there was a different kind of wealth, one that he had overlooked. Maybe there was more to life than material possessions, more than the relentless pursuit of money and status. Maybe he could find his own kind of wealth, a wealth that brought true happiness and fulfillment. Suddenly a sleek black car pulled up in front of them. A well-dressed man stepped out and walked towards them.
"Mr. Peterson, the meeting is ready."
Jason watched in astonishment as Thomas got up and straightened his worn-out jacket. He looked back at Jason, a mischievous glint in his eye.
"Don't mistake my appearance for my reality, son."
He shook Jason's hand firmly.
"Remember, true wealth comes from within."
And with a final wave, he got into the car and drove away. Jason sat, stunned. Thomas wasn't homeless? The revelation hit him like a ton of bricks. For years he had seen Thomas on the streets, always assuming the worst. But now, he learned that Thomas had been living a double life, using his experiences to inspire and uplift others. It was a story of resilience and transformation that Jason had never imagined. He had been using his story to help others. Thomas had become a beacon of hope for many, sharing his journey of overcoming adversity. He volunteered at shelters, spoke at community centers, and mentored those who were struggling. His life was a testament to the power of the human spirit. A wave of warmth washed over him. Jason felt a deep sense of admiration and respect for Thomas. He realized that he had been too quick to judge, too quick to make assumptions. Thomas's story was a reminder that everyone has a unique journey, and that appearances can be deceiving. He felt a renewed sense of hope. If Thomas could turn his life around and make such a positive impact, then perhaps Jason could find his own path to fulfillment. He felt inspired to look beyond his own struggles and see the potential for growth and change. He realized that he didn't need a job or a girlfriend to be happy. True happiness came from within, from finding purpose and meaning in life. Jason understood that he had been searching for validation in all the wrong places. It was time to shift his focus inward. He needed to find his own purpose, his own inner peace. The journey wouldn't be easy, but it was necessary. Jason decided to take small steps towards self-discovery, starting with meditation and self-reflection. He wanted to understand his true desires and passions. As he stood up and walked away, he noticed the sunset with fresh eyes. It was indeed beautiful. The colors seemed more vibrant, the air felt fresher. It was as if he was seeing the world for the first time. Jason felt a sense of gratitude for the simple things in life. He took a deep breath. The weight on his shoulders felt lighter and his mind was clearer. He knew that the road ahead would be filled with challenges, but he was ready to face them with a newfound strength and determination. He didn't know what the future held, but he was ready to face it with a new perspective. Jason felt empowered, knowing that he had the ability to shape his own destiny. He was no longer afraid of the unknown. He was ready to find his own kind of wealth. Not the material kind, but the wealth that comes from personal growth, inner peace, and meaningful connections. Jason's journey was just beginning and he was excited to see where it would lead.